So we're going to talk about decimals and percents for this next slide. So I wanted to just focus on decimals for just a moment before we get started on all this. A lot of people has problems with placements of a decimal, and that makes sense. But whenever you compare it to money, you know, change like 50 cents, 41 cents, 17 cents, it's always behind the decimal, right? And then if I say $3, $4, $10, it's always in front of the decimal. So sometimes it makes it easier if you can relate it to something. So let's talk about some placements of the decimal. So I'm going to put my decimal right here. And there's more that goes back here behind the decimal, and there's more that goes in front, but I'm going to stick with the most popular, common one that we use the most of. But don't get me wrong, in science and in banking and all that, you see these numbers get bigger and smaller. Okay, so let's talk about it. If we are behind the decimal, we add a TH and sometimes an S, because if it's more than one, it's an S. But we add a TH behind it. And we always start with the 10. And it's going to be called tenths. And then we got the hundreds. And it's a little slower writing, so anyways, so we got the hundreds. Then the next one's a thousandths, and the next one is a 10,000ths, and then so on and so on and so on. In front of the decimal, though, over here in front, there is no TH at the end of the word, and we start with 1, right? Tens, or just 10, you know, tens, 100, 1,000, and so on. Kind of get where we're going with that? Okay, so whenever we are talking about rounding to the nearest hundreds or the nearest whole number, we always have to look at the number directly behind that position, and it's a simple yes or no. You ask yourself, is it equal to or greater than 5? If your answer is yes, then you're going to add 1 to the number in front, and you're going to drop everything off. So, for example, say that I have 79.835.4. And I asked you to round to the nearest hundreds. Well, the 3 here is my hundreds, the TH on the end, right? And that means we need to look at the number directly behind it and say yes or no. Is it equal to or greater than 5? And if it's a yes, then we're going to add 1 to the 3 and drop the rest. If it's a no, we won't add 1 to 3 but drop the rest. Okay? In this case, it's a yes, so we're going to add and drop. So now, what if I asked you about a whole number? And let's write all these down. And I asked you, round to the nearest whole number. Well, you're going to look at the number directly behind the decimal, and you're going to ask the same question. Is this number equal to or greater than 5? If so, we're going to add 1 and drop the rest. If no, you just drop the rest and keep what the numbers are in front. In this case here, that 9 becomes a 10, carrying the 1 over, and it would have gave you an 80 as an answer. Okay? So that's talking a little bit about decimals. Whenever you add or subtract decimals, you have to line them up. Okay? If you divide by decimals, a little side note, so say that we have 2.57 divided by that 0.29, and this is not going to come out pretty, okay? Whenever we have to divide by decimals, we need the denominator to be a whole number, so we got to grab that decimal and move it 1, 2 places, turn it into a whole number. Well, whatever I did there, I have to do to the top, right? So now I got 29 is divided by this 257, okay? Again, when you add or subtract decimals, you line them up. Whenever you line up the decimals. Whenever you divide by decimals, the denominator needs to be a whole number, and if it's not, move the decimal the number of places to the right to make it a whole number. Once you're done there, you need to apply the same rule to the numerator, right? So if you moved it twice in the denominator, you're going to move it twice in the numerator. Whenever you multiply by decimals, we're not worried about the decimal until the end. So we're just going to go ahead and line it up as best you can over here at the side. It doesn't matter if the decimals line up. You just want to make sure scoot all the numbers all the way over. And we're going to multiply. And we're going to say 6 times 7 is 63. Carry the 6. 9 times 5 is 45. Plus 1 is 51. Plus 6, is 51. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. And now, our next number is in the second column, so that means we have to put a 0 here and scoot over. Now we have 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And now we're going to add these all up and bring down 3 plus 0 is 3, 4 plus 1 is 5, 3 plus 1 is 4, 2 plus 5 is 7. And now, here's where we're going to apply the decimal. We look at these numbers here that we've multiplied together and ask ourselves how many decimal places are there, and this one has 2. We look at this one, and this one has 2, and we add that up. And it says I'm going to move my decimal 4 places. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And it goes right here, so my answer would look like this. Okay? So let me go ahead and do an adding one in case, okay? So I got $2.57. So that means I got to line that decimal from the 29 cents up. So I can add or subtract, but I'm going to add here. 7 plus 9 is 16. Carry the 1. 1 plus 5 plus 2 is 8. Bring down the decimal. 2 plus 0 is 2. So that is adding. And of course, if you would have subtracted, you would have had to borrow. Okay, so now let's talk about changing the decimal to a percent. Whenever we're going to percent, you need to multiply by 100. Or you can take the shortcut and notice that when you put it in percent, right, you multiply by 100, but you're increasing, you're making it bigger, so that means you need to move the decimal 2 places to the right. So we're going to go 1, 2, so this gives me 29%. Okay? If, say for instance, let's choose one, let me go underneath this, I'll come back to the application problem. So say that I have 25% already. Let's do 25.5% already. And I want to undo the percent. That means I'm going to divide by 100. The shortcut means if we're dividing, we're making it smaller. So we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So we get 0.255. Okay? So next, let's do our application problem. It says that if the rate of sales tax is 6%, what would be the final cost of a laptop priced at $899? So there's multiple ways to solve this. What we want to do is figure out the total price, right? So you're going to take this $899 $6. And we're going to multiply it by the 6%, right? It's going to give me some number. And whatever number that is, I'm going to add it back to the 899. And the reason why I'm adding is because that's sales tax. Sales tax is added onto your total. But I can't multiply with it in percent. I have to undo the percent. And if I'm going to undo it, that means I got to divide it by 100%. Shortcut means move the decimal 2 places in this direction. So now I got 899, and it's going to be multiplied by 0.06. So let's do this. We have 6 times 9 is 54. Okay. Now we have 6 times 9 again is 54 plus 5, which is 59. Carry the 5. Now I have 6 times 8, right? It's 48 plus 5 is 53. And now I got to look at my decimals. This top number don't have a decimal, but this next one does. It has 2 decimal places, so that means I'm going to go 1, 2. So I got $53.94 in sales tax. I'm going to add it to the $899 because that's going to tell me how much you pay total for this. Hang on. So, 899 plus that 53. Let's add this up right quick. So, when we're adding, we got to line up the decimals. And since you don't see a decimal, it meant it's behind it, okay? So, let's add this up. 0 plus 4, 0 plus 9, bring down the decimal. 9 plus 3 is 12, carry the 1. 9 plus 1 plus 5 is 15, carry the 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. So it's going to be $952.94 is your total cost. Thank you.